Hey guys, the video should look better from here on out, because we're now playing on a Wii. More context at the end of the video after the credits, because I don't want to... Dude! That was a hell of an idle animation. Anyway, back to this. The context after the credits for why the game looks a little different. I think he just stabbed himself through the hand, which, like... Maybe I'll play him more in the future, and he'd be like, I'm the zombie boy, this is my character trait. But holy fuck, man, that is a hell of a move to make when you're like in the middle of gaining that status. Trappers have no eyes, but can sense sound very well. If Anthony can sneak past them, they won't be trouble. I'm not entirely sure if they're trouble to begin with. They don't seem to necessarily do damage. They mostly just annoy me by throwing me into a shit dimension. That's just the fountain from earlier. Oh fuck. He's coming. Oh god, it's very dark in here. Was it that dark in there before, or is the game rendering darker now? I think the game's rendering darker now. Whoops. They really fucked up by not having an actual, like, this is how dark the game should be screen. Did I even make it darker? Brighter? There we go, it got super dark, okay. The monk ambles around nervously as if half expecting, yeah, we've been through that. I gotta get it back with the key. He's not doing well. Everyone just suffers in this game. Like, everyone's just having a real bad time. Starting to feel bad for them all. Hey, buddy. Oh, I'm about to die. Okay. Ah, okay. Hey, there we go. No arms left for you. Ow. Are you taking out my mana with your attacks? Ow, fuck. Stop it. Dude, I am fucking... I can't handle this, apparently. Dude, I'm about to die. I can't target his arm correctly? Fuck. Why am I just getting back up? I can't move. No, don't examine things. Dude, I basically can't move. Like, this is hard. There we go. Damn. Our boy is having a hell of a sluggish time right about now, where he's really struggling with getting it. Oop. Select an item to enchant. Sword, I guess. The item's now enchanted. Yeah. Am I getting... I think I'm hitting the wall. I think I can't... Shit, that kind of causes a problem for me. Can you... There you go. I was like, can you swing in a different direction, please? Looks like if you do a sort of up, like, head directioned attack, it still works. Oh, there's the door. I thought that was the door over there. Oh, that's a window. Muffled voices emanate from inside the bishop's visiting chamber. However, the door is locked and Anthony will need the bishop's key to enter and gain an audience with the Charlemagne.
Trying to save him, Anthony. His fate was decided many centuries ago, as is the fate of this world. Despite your faith, there is little to save you from the power of Ulya.
Wow, it's just a legacy of failure. We're just watching sad people suffer over and over again. Go up and down a dungeon, then lose, accomplishing basically nothing. Nope, sorry. Get a little sword happy sometimes. The Gothic cathedral is silhouetted against a stark light. The image is vicious and devoid of subtlety. Every brush stroke echoes the spikes of the architecture, being a violent feeling. So the building itself is a harsh imposition of unreality, a grim picture indeed. A strong reaction to some architecture. Looks like some kind of mask. The face is serene in composure, with a faint hint of a smile tugging at the corners of the mouth, and eyes closed in deep meditation. Let's see, is there anything in the room that ties to what just happened? So we did the candle puzzle. We have a gladius, which I believe is just the wrong shape entirely. Looks like this might hint where I go next. Do we have a guest? The detective? Don't mind me, I just got a sword. The call of the mansion beckons to Alex, drawing her back to uncover the family's secrets it hides. She's refusing to leave. What was that? Oh, it's just the lampshades. Any more knocking? We're hearing sounds. supposed to be like a jump scare moment where like I leave the room, then there's knocking immediately after I leave to reveal that actually something's going on in here? No. Nah, I think the footsteps I'm hearing are supposed to indicate that whatever's going on is above me. I keep forgetting that this is the wrong door. The door is locked. Second floor key. The key comes apart in the lock. The key of the second floor is broken. Perhaps there's a way of repairing it. Well, shit. Glue? The Tome of Eternal Darkness? Magic? Oops. Ah. Showing that the magic is carrying forward through the Eternal Darkness book. So whenever she learns about something in the past, she'll then know how to cast it now. And that's going to be how we continue to make progress through this environment. Where are all the sounds coming from, though? Horsey. A serene painting of a luscious mountain valley, delicately rendered in oils. Time has taken its toll on the surface, which is soiled with dirt and scratches. Ah! Hi? We're not even going to react to that, huh? Not even an observation of the moving portrait, or moving statue? I am noticing there's a little bit of audio crackle when certain, like, boom sounds happen, like with magic. So I'll look into that after this episode. Although even a little audio crackle is probably a worthy trade-off of the better visuals. Huh. It's harsh looking. Ammunition. So I am going to be using a gun. It reminds me of that indie game we played, The Devil. Oh, the walls are bleeding again. Alex questions the presence of a lush landscape amidst these other morbid pieces. Could it be a single ray of hope encircled by the encroaching darkness? Are those basalt columns? They look like it, but it's so low resolution that's and in the dark that's hard to say. This is definitely the kind of household where you turn a corner and you see Saturn devouring his son. Which at this point almost deserves its own freaking collection image of like, here's all the places I found this fucking portrait again. One of the drawers in the dresser curiously has no keyhole. In its place is a small triangular design flanked by a magical symbol. So that's the symbol that's on my save, right? Which people are pointing out is, like, I guess the symbol of the blue thing I grabbed at the beginning. I guess that's, like, you picking a playthrough style to some extent, but there's, like, not a lot of context for that choice, and you don't really know what you're choosing. But I guess that's 3 different ways of playing the game. There must be, like, a triangle. Okay, that startled me. Jesus. Hi. Jump scares apparently exist in this game. How you doing? Fuck. Alex has found a page of the Journal of Maximilian Roivus. Well. Can we just talk about how this is the fanciest fucking place ever and this toilet is a disaster? Why does it look like a horror toilet when nothing else looks horror-y around here except for the occasional bleeding walls, but you know. What are you looking up at? What are you looking at? Usually when you're looking at something, I don't know, in Silent Hill, your character's head tilting like that usually means there's a thing. But I can't see what they're looking at. That was very rude, game. Ooh, we're getting spooky now. We're getting a constant suggestion that someone's coming. She's probably just looking at those all the time, right? The fact that the walls keep bleeding? Are you gaining insight? Is that what's happening? In a lot of Lovecrafty stuff, you gain insight as you gain more information about the horrors, and that makes you start to hallucinate and lose grip of reality. Maybe the walls are bleeding, and she's seeing herself dead because of that, although she already had a vision. She had that nightmare before any of this, but who knows what she was up to before then. And who knows if her family was already being cursed by her grandfather? Is that who this was? More ammo. A musty aroma hangs in the air, and a layer of fine dust lies on all surfaces of the room. It seems as if no one has been in here for a long time. It's almost like a museum. Nope, there's something there. A chapter page has been hastily stashed behind the frame of this painting. Should you retrieve it? The Gift of Forever. A Napoleon-looking picture. An oddly proportioned painting of a man in somewhat Napoleonic garb. Obviously an intentional exaggeration, it gives the painting an oddly quirky feel. I was making a bit of note of the fact that we're playing as a female protagonist, and then extrapolating out there a little bit that, like, not this year, but the previous year's Silent Hill game I played had a female protagonist, and I'm uploading Resident Evil right now that has, once again, out of 4 protagonists, 3 of them are female. And then I'm also watching Slow Walk. Alright, I'll see you later, buddy. But it all kind of ties in a bit to, like, I watched something that pointed out the idea that, like, specifically, horror has always been disproportionately representative of women in a way that other genres have failed to do so in many cases. God, what did this come up with? Oh yeah, it was a Yara Zaid video called A Monstrous Comes of Age, Horror and Girlhood. She was discussing in particular the idea that, like, horror has a tendency to just have a lot more female representation than a lot of other different genres do that are often behind on this. And it's not necessarily entirely from a good place, because to some extent, some of it is often preying on the idea that there's this preconception that women are vulnerable and weak, and so when you're trying to make a truly terrifying story, it's like, what if they were a woman? A truly vulnerable, scary, what a scary premise. And so that, to some extent, that's part of why, but it still leads to a situation where it leads to a lot of girls that are really big horror fans just because somewhat unconsciously you kind of start taking up, like, that's where you get a lot of representation, and oftentimes people hunt for any representation they get, like, in a weird sort of way. Like, there's this thing where, like, a lot of horror villains are themselves often very poor representations of LGBT tropes, and it's partly because you were only allowed to be gay in film if you were yourself the villain in some way. Your behavior had to be demonized. That's the only way you could get past the Hays Code and stuff like that if you were anywhere along LGBT, trans, and so on. Well, that's the T in LGBT. And it leads to a situation where sometimes the representation of these particular groups can be problematic and iffy and not the most positive images, but at the same time, sometimes those groups will they'll kind of rally around those characters anyway, just because bad representation sometimes is better than no representation, and so you kind of have people leaning towards things where they see themselves, just so they can, in their media, that's just like a thing that people lean towards in a lot of ways. And so I think that kind of maybe informs why there sometimes is like a subsection of women that are particularly favorable towards horror, and if that might in some way be informed by the fact that when they were growing up, that was one of the only places that they could ever see movies as a child where they were not only just major cast members, but in many cases the main character, which is unlikely in other genres. I just find that interesting to think about, thinking back to like oh yeah, Stephanie is like obsessed with horror, and like there's none of her, and she'll tell you like 30 reasons why she loves horror now, but I'm wondering if to some extent, like when she was really young, that might have been an appealing element of it that got her in the door. There's other reasons too. People get into genres, like it gets shared with them via a loved one that they care about a lot, and then that like informs their emotions and so on. There's a lot, obviously, but it's an element. It's too dark in here to do anything. Perhaps the circuit has been broken. We're just not gonna do anything in there. Good old don't have a flashlight. There's like a spiral? Yeah. Hard to make this one out. Are these cabled? Maybe it's long enough you could just pull it over here and to open the door. Be inventive. Oh yeah, you went through a secret door. The wallpaper in this section of the hallway is oddly marred, as though the wall it sits on is not even with the rest of the room. Yeah, it's because that wasn't even a ghost. It was a Scooby-Doo villain. He went through his secret door. Okay. You done? Ooh. The stained glass depicts a glowing medieval maiden, luminous even with the faint light of a setting sun. The maiden clasps a piece of parchment in her hands. The window gives Alex a strange feeling, almost as if it was magical and not really there. A glowing field of energy protects the window. Oh! Shit! It's one of those kinds of energies. Not just a barrier, but an attack. If I were to guess, maybe that's the next area, because I did get a new chapter, so maybe next chapter I get the ability to reveal secrets or something, and then that magic spell will get me through that door. Because at the moment, I don't think I can get through there. Let's see. Journal of M. Roivas, Part 1. Everything that brightened my life now engulfed me in darkness. I fed on the light of truth, yet starved on the shadows of lies. I have learned through my lifetime, but no less than a newborn baby. You know less than a baby. That sounds unlikely. Just gonna blow your mind here. Babies are real dumb.
Dreams. Modern psychology offers only unproven theories. Some see them as the meaningless tossing and turning of a brain settling into a restful sleep. Others see them as laden with symbols of our unconscious desires. To still others, dreams represent the upwelling of the archetypes, normally hidden deep within the recesses of the human collective unconscious. Of one thing I am certain. After a brush with the ancients, our dreams metamorphosize into nightmares.
I have implored you for years, yet you ignore all my advances. You dominate my dreams, and I can think of nothing else. I fear I desire you many 100 times more than you love me.
My life has become a waking dream, Karim. For weeks, I have dreamed of an ancient treasure, so precious that it changes all life around it. It must be mine, Karim. If you truly desire me, as you say, then you will find this for me. Bring this treasure to me, and I will be yours. Both of our dreams will come true.
I need nothing more than you. You have enthralled me to the point where I can think of nothing else. Promise, if I leave, you will not forget about me.
You need not worry. I desire nothing more than the treasure that you seek. Leave now, Karim, and I shall await you.
Yeah, there's that crackle. It's rare, but I'd like to get rid of it. Well, the bad news is you're in a crazy zombie mode where you're gonna fight more of these zombie things, which, to some extent, I'm starting to wonder, like, does this game have more enemies? There was the weird energy monster earlier, I guess, but we're sure fighting these zombie skeleton things a lot, the husks, and chopping their heads off, which really just disarms them. But yeah, the crackle's not very common, but I definitely would like to get rid of it. I was gonna say, hope she's worth it, Karim, but she's not, because you're not... It's not like you're gonna go through this and come out the other side and then, like, win her favor. You're definitely dying this chapter. There seems to be, like, a lack of exceptions here. It really does feel like I'm playing two really similar games in parallel between this and Silent Hill. Because you play as a character trapped in one location that keeps experiencing other people's stories in small vignettes where it's a new character in a new location each time and it goes very badly for them every time, but it keeps making you get a little bit progress of some kind for you. A man's corpse lies fallen. Wounds cover the exposed flesh of his body where his armor has failed. Yep. Should have worn face armor. I know, hindsight's 20/20. And maybe what your eyesight was once, but now it's pretty bad, because you're dead. Straight to here, huh? Okay. That's the guy from last chapter, right? Anthony. We're running out of spaces for people to be, unless they're going to start manning those walls over there. There seems to be openings there. You poor guys. Cradled in what appears to be a leathery hand lies a mysterious book. It is bound to human skin and intricately decorated with shrunken bones. It beckons and yearns to be possessed. Should Kareem claim the Tome of Eternal Darkness? No. Obviously not. But what else am I gonna do here? It's cool, just pick up the book made of body parts amidst the fucking screaming floor that you're just blowing right past, bro. Hi. Why is that one so small? Haha. Anyway, let's let me out of here. No? A talisman with the red symbol on it. I got chakrams? I can throw chakrams at peeps? Ah, shit. Damn, he went aggro. Now what do I do? Oh wait, do I just actually go down here now? Because last time it took me to the not. Yeah, I gotta remember that. When you go through a threshold, then it teleports you to the Eternal Darkness Tome. But that's not actually where that whatever path you took was taking you. So then you just take whatever path you took again. A statuette vaguely resembling a man stands atop a low pedestal. Dude, that was really big. That's impressive. They just nabbed it up like that. Haha. Oh, I need you to die. You got a thing in you. So I'm gonna we'll see how this pays off. It might lead to some needs to respawn a bit, but I'm going to intentionally let my stamina drop a bit. I mean my sanity. Because I've caught wind of the fact that apparently one of the major flaws of this game is that its most appealing element is what happens when you get low sanity. But it's also not a very hard game, so it's relatively easy to just avoid getting low sanity, which is kind of a bummer because we want to see those cool insanity effects happen. It's like one of the core reasons people remember this game. So I'm gonna intentionally not do finishing moves sometimes. Oh, there's that crackle. God damn. I really hope that that's fixable, and I'm not like in a fucking bargain between bad video and bad audio. A tug of war, not a bargain. An arcane shrine dominates the room. Braziers surrounded its edge, while a larger one tops its summit. No doubt each one would be filled with incense to facilitate prayer to insidious deities. So is that my new goal? Find the incense? Ah. Well, this is a great room to stop in, actually. Let's make a save, and then after this episode, I can troubleshoot the crackle in this room that keeps doing it conveniently every few seconds. That sounds like great news to me. So I'll see you guys next time. In ever pursuit of higher quality Let's Play recordings. You get to watch the process live, apparently. Ooh, well that looks a lot clearer. That's nice. Alright. So, background. I wasn't totally happy with the visual resolution, clearness, whatever, so on, that the videos were having. And I realized really the problem here is that I was playing on a GameCube. Pro tip, if you want to play GameCube games and get the best video out of it, you just buy a Wii. Well, you have to get a generation of Wii that still has the GameCube stuff on it, so look out for that. But Yeah, the Wii, or at least originally, could play GameCube games and discs and so on. And I thought I was going to have to replay the game up to where I left off, but it also takes GameCube memory cards, so I'm actually not losing any progress at all. Look how they're all like nice clear text now all of a sudden. I've loaded the game up already before, so I know the visuals are still like a little muddier than I was hoping for, but that's just going to be the console generation. At least now I can somewhat confidently say it's the console I'm on and not, and you know, just what the game looks like, as opposed to other elements like whether or not I have recording things I could be doing better and so on. But this is an improvement. In particular, like, this is really clear now, and that's nice. That is good news to me. Yes. So for context, sorry if this is boring for people who just want to watch the playthrough, the issue with specifically recording GameCube, more so than any other console of that generation, perhaps, I think, is that the GameCube, you're pretty much stuck with coaxial cables, and you can't get to component cables. Is it coaxial or something else? Component, let's see. Composite, that's the word, sorry. I've been searching component and composite a lot lately. So the composite is the white, red, yellow connection. It sucks, but thankfully that console generation generally had component cables as an option, even though they were in fact all 480p consoles, and in fact the Wii is also a 480p console. The component just looks better, as you can see here. The Wii is also a 480p console, but it has component as an output. The thing about GameCube specifically is that the component cables were only available via Nintendo directly. You had to order it through their store, and it's a completely proprietary cord that you cannot get anywhere else. So it's exceedingly rare. And then, on top of limited supply, they also just straight up removed the component port from future GameCubes eventually. So eventually the GameCube just dropped that port entirely, which means getting higher quality footage is almost impossible on the GameCube without spending, like, first getting the kind of GameCube that has the correct port, which it may or may not have, then spending about $600 on Amazon for a Japanese import of one of the dwindling cords remaining, and those prices are only going up over the years. But like, as you can see here on his arm, you can see the jaggies, and that means our cable is now pretty much giving us the proper resolution even possible from this console, and that's just, and at that point that's just the blurriness we're seeing is partly the color palette and partly just that's just what 480p looks like. You can see the 480p's from top to bottom because my arm and my sword have little jagged edges, so we no longer have to worry about it all being blurred by the I keep wanting to say coaxial cable, I'm such a mess, composite cable. On top of that, I got for $10 you can get it looks like a dongle. You know, it is a dongle that just it sticks directly out of the component port of your Wii, and then you can plug up the HDMI cable into that. So I'm currently recording on HDMI, even though the Wii didn't have an HDMI, because you can actually get a converter from component to HDMI very, very, very easily. And on top of that, sorry, I'm trying to think of everything. On top of that, while the GameCube was often in 480i, because we have we're recording it on a Wii, and we're doing it via component and everything, this is now running in 480p, so I no longer have to de-interlace it, which was the other problem, and half the reason I have a FrameMeister in the first place is to de-interlace footage, to get rid of that comb effect and the blurriness of having the interlacing elements render at the same time, because for those that don't know what interlaced footage was, it was because every single horizontal bar of the entire screen was being rendered every other frame, and they were alternating. So recording that into a progressive scan, which is what old modern stuff looks like, would lead to that blurry combing effect. So while the first few episodes of this game looked not great in general, the first episode looked the worst because it was having an interlacing problem that I needed to fix and that I somehow slipped through. But now we're just not using a FrameMeister at all. Now we're just recording a Wii directly into an Elgato, and it's improved. This went longer than I expected. I'll put it at the end of the episode.